Hello and welcome to video number 10 in this series. And in this video I'll demonstrate how to multiply polynomials. So you may remember from video 1 in this series that we talked about how to multiply a plus b times c plus d. And we used the acronym FOIL to talk about this. So we look at the first terms, a and c, and multiply them together, and then the outside terms, a and d, and then the inside terms, b and c, and then the last terms, b and d. So we refer to that as FOIL. And we can demonstrate that with a simple example, say 3 plus 4 times 2 plus 1. So the first term's 3 times 2 would be 6, and then the last term's 3 times 1 would be 3, and then the inner terms 4 times 2 would be 8, and then the last terms 4 and 1 would be 4, and so that comes to 9, 17, and 4, 21. And we can apply something similar to multiplying polynomials. So as an example, let's do 2x squared plus 3 times x minus 4. So the first terms here, 2x squared and x, multiply those together. So you have 2 times x squared times x, which is the same as 2 times x cubed. And then we're going to do the outer terms, so 2x squared and minus 4, so minus 8 times x squared. And then the inner terms, 3 and x, 3 times x, and then the last terms, 3 and minus 4. So let's do a few more examples to make sure we've got the idea. Let's do x squared minus 2x times minus 3x plus 1. So first terms, x squared times minus 3x, so that'd be minus 3x cubed. And then the outer terms, so x squared and plus 1. And then the inner terms, minus 2x times minus 3x, which would be plus 6x squared. And then the last terms, we've got minus 2x and plus 1, so minus 2x. And we wouldn't want to leave it like this because we can simplify this because we've got x squared and 6x squared. So we'll write minus 3x cubed plus 7x squared minus 2x. Another example, let's do 3x minus 2 squared. So this fits with this pattern because we've got 3x minus 2 times 3x minus 2. But rather than writing it all out, I'm going to kind of minimize the amount of writing I'm doing and just kind of think ahead to what I'm calculating. I'm going to have, if I think about the first terms, I've got 3x times another 3x, so I'll have 9x squared. And then if I think about the outer terms, so I'll have, think of 3x minus 2, 3x minus 2. So the outer terms, we got 3x and then we got minus 2. So we got minus 6x. And then if we think about the inner terms, so 3x minus 2, 3x minus 2, we're going to have minus 2 times 3x. So we'll have another minus 6x. And then finally the last terms, minus 2 times minus 2, so plus 4. And again, we want to simplify that by collecting the minus 6x's together. 9x squared minus 12x plus 4. And this is a very common calculation, and so it's good to see the pattern here and to be able to do this kind of calculation quickly in the minimum number of steps. Ideally, you want to go straight from here to the final answer. And then the next one is also very common. 4x plus 3, 4x minus 3. And you can kind of see the pattern here. We've got 4x plus something and then 4x minus the same thing. 4x minus 3 is called the conjugate of 4x plus 3. And what happens when we have this kind of example, we'll have 4x times 4x, so we'll have 16x squared. And then we're going to have plus 3 times 4x, which would be 12x, but we've also got 4x times minus 3, so minus 12x. So we'll have plus 12x, minus 12x, the x's will go away. And then we've got plus 3 times minus 3, so we've got minus 9. So you can see how we kind of lose a couple of terms there. They kind of cancel each other out. So these last two examples are very common. Moving forwards, you'll see this a lot. When there are more than two terms in a polynomial, we have to be extra careful to make sure that we get all the partial products. So for example, let's do a polynomial with 3 terms. And we'll multiply it by a polynomial with 2 terms. So there's going to be 3 times 2, 6 partial products here. So to be systematic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do minus 2x cubed times each of these 2 terms first. So minus 2x cubed times 3x squared is going to be minus 6x to the 5. And then we'll have minus 2x cubed times minus 1. So plus 2x cubed. And then we'll have minus 3x times 3x squared, so minus 9x cubed. And then minus 3x times minus 1 plus 3x. And then we'll have 4 times 3x squared, so 12x squared. And then finally the constant plus 4 times minus 1, which would be minus 4. And we need to collect like terms. So we've got 2x cubed here and a minus 9x cubed here. So we've got the 6 minus 6x to the 5, and then 2 minus 9 minus 7x cubed. And then we've got, I'll do the x squared term next. And then 3x, and then minus 4. We can also combine the ideas from this video with the ideas from the last video and work with examples like the following. So let's do minus x plus 3. We'll multiply it by 4x squared plus 3x. And then we'll subtract 2x times minus 3x squared plus 2x plus 4. So now we're able to deal with quite complex polynomial expressions. And just have to kind of go through and be careful and make sure you're getting all those partial products, and then you're collecting like terms. So let's do minus x times each of these pieces. So minus 4x cubed and minus 3x squared. And then we've got plus 3 times each of these terms. We'll have 12x squared and 9x. And then we've got minus 2x times each of these terms. So we'll have plus 6x cubed, and then minus 4x squared, and then minus 8x. And then let's collect like terms. So let's look for the highest power of x is x cubed, and we got minus 4 here, and plus 6 here, so we got plus 2 x squared. X cubed. And then x squared, we got minus 3 plus 12 minus 4. So that's going to be plus 5x squared. X is, we've got 9 here, minus 8 there. And then we don't have a constant term. So that's it. So at this point, pause the video and see if you can work through the next two problems. So we're going to have minus 4x cubed plus x times 2x squared minus 3. So you just have 4 partial products to worry about there. And then we'll do a more complicated example. We'll do minus 3x squared times 3x squared minus x minus 4 plus 2x squared plus 3x times 2x squared minus 3x. So let's see what you got for this first example. So I'll do that here. We've got minus 4x cubed times 2x squared. So that is minus 8, x to the 5. And then we've got minus 4x cubed times minus 3. So that will be 12x cubed. And then we got plus x times 2x squared, so plus 2x cubed. And then finally, minus 3x. And we need to collect these two terms, because they both involve x cubed. So that's going to be minus 8x to the 5, and then 14x cubed, and then minus 3x. So that's the first one, and then the second one, we'll do that here. So we've got minus 3x squared times plus 3x squared, so that would be minus 9x to the 4. And then we've got minus 3x squared times minus x, so plus 3x cubed. Minus 3x squared minus 4, so plus 12x squared. And then hopefully you notice here that we've got conjugates. So we've got something plus something, and then the same thing but with a minus. So we know that some of the terms drop out. So all I have to worry about is these two terms multiplied together. So that's going to be 4x to the 4. And then the last two terms multiplied together. Plus 3x times minus 3x minus 9x squared. And if we collect like terms, we got minus 9x to the 4 plus 4x to the 4. So that's going to be minus 5x to the 4. And we've got 3x cubed. And then the x squared, so we got 12 here, minus 9 here, so plus 3x squared. So that's all for this video. And in the next video, I'll stay with polynomials, but we'll start thinking about factoring polynomials.